Welcome everybody back to another episode of Talk Your Shift, presented by RggiTV. I got my big brother with me back in the house. Yo,
Yo,
welcome,
yo,
Big Lou
yo.
back.
What's going on, people? Missed y'all. I was away for a minute, but I'm back, excited, ready to get back to it. Let's go.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, the people knew. I kind of teased a little bit where you was at. My boy went on a Super Bowl cruise. I kind of was telling the people I was a little jealous. My man was on a boat and watching the Super Bowl on the water and shit. Uh, we could briefly talk about your experience of being on a Super Bowl cruise. I don't know anybody.
Man, you know what? It's a different experience than I've ever had. I must say that. I think, man, you definitely have to try it. You know what I mean? Go out there. I had a really, really good time. Unfortunately, the game wasn't the game that I was really looking for. You know what I
Right,
mean? For a Super Bowl game. You know what I mean? And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a
right,
few seconds. But yeah, man, great cruise, man. I would, advise those who are interested or whatever to definitely take that leap because
right.
it'll be a leap.
I might have to check that one out with you next year. I don't know. We have to see what's going on with that one.
Right,
But
right,
yeah,
right.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that
it
leads
won't
into
disappoint.
right, right. Okay, for sure. We're gonna look into that one for 26. But that leads into our topics of the day. We want to definitely just discuss this Super Bowl. We know our Super Bowl picks. I picked the Chiefs. My boy Big Lou picked the Eagles, and he came out on top this time. So we just wanted to briefly talk about that game, talk about what our thoughts was, and I'll just jump in first. Talk about like it really wasn't much to talk about. I think that. I kind of really just underestimated the defensive line of the Eagles and the pressure they can get with not necessarily having a blitz. They got pressure with sending four, sometimes three. That they just completely sat his offensive line in his lap, and and honestly, I thought that the NFL and the referees wouldn't allow this to happen. They couldn't do nothing about this. So I think that is indicative of the score, and Philly was just overwhelming. They've been overwhelming pretty much a good portion of the year. They had their slip ups, but they've been a good team. I talk about their fan base all the time. I'm a lay off. Y'all the champs. Y'all got it. I ain't got no beef. I know that I still feel how I feel. I still stand 10 toes down, but I still gonna say when you win and you on top, you get to say what you want. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But congratulations to them and Jalen Hurts and Saquon and Sirianni and all the guys that I'm sure they feel um, you know fulfilled in a sense because they probably been hounded about not winning and not getting there the year before and the way they lost and had to watch them celebrate on the field and all that good stuff. So I'm sure they feel vindicated is the word that I'm really looking for. And being able to kind of overcome that. But what you think about it, bro?
Well, first of all, hats off to both teams even making it to the championship. That's really hard to do. Playing with so many good teams throughout the season, and only two can make it. You know what I mean? One from each division, to tell you the truth. So
Right.
hats off to the Chiefs. For making it. Didn't put much effort up in the game. Um, to the point where, man, it made me almost scratch my head and question, like, what is going on? Like, I've
Yeah.
never really seen, this level of folly, with the Chiefs, even though some people say they were exposed, you know, um, they were, going in that direction and they won a lot of, really close games that they may have should have lost,
Mm.
throughout the regular season or playoffs. I've heard that. But man, it just seemed very uncharacteristic. Some of the throws, just O line breaking down, a lot of things just like I'm just not used to seeing that level of play, from, the Kansas City Chiefs, so it did surprise me a little bit, but I can't take anything away from the Eagles. Saquon has been doing what he's been doing since, he got over there, so I can't
Right,
say that that's, uh, a fluke or anything like that. He's the best running back in the league. Jalen Hurts is a top five quarterback in the league. They got weapons around them, and they were knocking on the door. Even that last year, they were knocking on the door, even though
right,
and they came up short. So they had a statement that they wanted to make this year, and they definitely made it. Again, hats off to the Eagles, and but I'm sure. Patrick and company or whatever the case may be will, they'll be back, so um, I'm pretty sure of it because they got a really, really, deep team over there. So I
right.
imagine with just a piece here or a piece there, they'll be right back in the conversation. So we can enjoy this one while we can because I'm sure my boy is going to be right back, you know what I mean, trying to take his seat, within the next year or so. So,
Right.
yeah, that's how I feel about that one. But yeah, I kind of felt the Eagles were going to do it and they were destined to win. So I was able to pull off that win, but again, it was a little surprising that it was as lopsided as it was.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. That feeling. I thought it would be a different, different game for different reasons. Why, you know what I mean? And you talked about a point about exposing the Chiefs. I think that anybody that got pressure on them without blitzing gave them problems. I mean, that's what happened in the Super Bowl against the Bucks. They just put pressure on them, and that kind of what is what's told the story. So, like you said, congratulations to the Eagles and their fans and their players and everybody. Like I said, they deserve it. I'm sure the city's partying and doing doing their big one this time. So, for sure. And that leads us into the other topic, and what we want to almost talk about could be the main topic of the Super Bowl. Really, is that Super Bowl halftime. So I got a couple of videos that I dropped about that, but Lou wasn't around. Lou was watching the Super Bowl on the boat, on the cruise boat, cruise ship, and so we don't have our takes together in the sense of conversating on it. So I wanted to get Lou's take just on what you thought, man, of the Super Bowl, how you thought it was, what you thought about the performance, the song selection.
Man, first of all, let me be honest and say, man, I wasn't so sure about um I'm a little older, so I have different genres of music that I listen to. So I can't even really say that I was one of those people that was, on Kendrick like that, like most people are in the world today. I heard a few songs here and there, but for the most part, man, you might find my station on 102.3 or the Wave or something like that. You know what I mean? Just
Right,
cruising down the highway, still listening to regular radio.
right,
So I'm a late bloomer in the sense of really getting into Kendrick, hearing his music, really getting into depth where, I got a couple of songs from you, going through them, listening to them once or twice, even three times, and hearing his message and what he's all about. And he really has been growing on me, ever since. And so, for the most part, one of the best lyricists that I've ever encountered, after I realized how deep this dude is, you know what I mean? So I maybe
right.
not gave him that opportunity, So after finding out, you know, what Kendrick is all about and, what he's been about, he's definitely, you know, um, goes back to the top of my list or whatever as far as like favorite artists. He's doing some iconic things right now. But just to speak on the show, I think the show was awesome. I've heard some views out there about people saying it was boring, or I guess they wanted them to play certain songs or whatever the case may be that they like, and so and because his message, um, which was a deep message, it wasn't really about those songs. Those songs were, you know, um, precisely selected for a reason. And so he really made his case and what he was trying to accomplish. I thought it was awesome. The whole, control, using the controller to, talk about our current state here in the United States as black people trapped here in America. And man, like they say, it was just no cap, man. There was no lies told, on that night. And I hope it really woke people up, to understand that, we are at a crossroad right now where we're going to have to make, a decision on how we are going to allow people, to treat us as black people, you know what I mean? And standing together and, really, really putting pressure, but it can't happen, divided, and so, and I just thought he put a wonderful depiction of, the current state, you know what I mean, of where this country is, showing the division, with his dancers, you know, um, all of this displays that he put on, Serena Williams, and her emphasis, you know what I mean, her background, her being from Compton as well, just, it was just so many things and that he, portrayed in that halftime show, man. It was just awesome to me, man. And I really don't know too many folks better in the sense of performance, but not just performance, man. Delivering a message, to, the world and doing it in such fine fashion, man. I just leave it at that. And and get your take on it, man. But I just thought it was awesome. I'm a super Kendrick fan right now, and I'm really pushing this dude's message about, what he's all about, man. Period, point blank. I ain't from Compton. I'm from Los Angeles, South Central LA, but I'm down for whatever he talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we had some conversations offline about a lot of what was going on. Like I said, I don't disagree with anything with your take and your point of view, and it's really special to me knowing that we're from different genres and knowing that we are experiencing the same thing and the same understanding of the music, even though you're coming from a place like where you had, like you said, you're listening to different stuff and you're on a different wave. So it makes me feel good being a super. I want to say I've been a Kendrick fan for a long time. Like so, following them from the early albums before the actual LPs of Good Kid and Pimp a Butterfly and all that. So to see him on this stage and continuing to push the narrative even further with more influence and to do it so creatively, uh, it's it's so breathtaking. Like people don't even understand how important what it is that he did and the symbolism. The Uncle Sam using Samuel L. Jackson as a double entendre. Then ever also understanding like his character in Django and just knowing what he kind of means to black people a little bit in their head. Like we don't dislike Sam, but we know he played that well way too well. It was
Right.
just what I mean. It's just like those little things like that for him to add these little nuggets and how even as he's performing the different songs, the choices of songs were important to say what he needed to say in in the Great American Game that we were talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like that he needed to help the people understand the battle that he's going through with trying to stay within their rules while moving in the controller game with through the controller. He's performing in different areas and you see when he's in the middle part of the controller where you kind of play freely how much chaos and things be going on where he can move free, but you go when he's performing in these different other areas in the triangle with scissor and the circle, and then in the X when he does peekaboo, it's like it's all like still pushing the envelope, but then playing within the game of the rules where X allows you to move certain ways. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But like even when he And then Samuel, like, you better slow down. And then he go into the slow jams. But he was like, I kind of want to tease you, but then people like the suit. And Sam is like, you better not do that. Even when he went to Man in the Garden, like, people don't understand when he got the dudes under the light post and he got he's saying, Hype, tell me why you deserve to be the greatest of all time. And Samuel was like, oh, you brought the homies with you. Okay, I see you got the cultural influence. One deduct one life. One life is just the important symbolism where you can take it like where you're having a game where you have multiple lives or one homeboy that gotta go. Man, it's just so powerful and it means so much. And for people, it bothers me when people talk about how like it was whack or whatever it is, even though it's the most viewed and I think it's one of the best, well thought out, story told type of performances. He's told you a story from beginning to end.
Right.
And what I loved about it, I think even most, is that Drake had this much part to do with it. Even though everybody was waiting for the buildup of that, and he knew that, and he used that to the storyline and to how to build it. But this to think about when he's performing those songs, he's in the middle of the stage where you play free, where I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. When I go and move into these controllers, I'm doing what y'all gonna do. Sometimes I'm pushing the envelope, but a lot of times, he's like, when he did the scissor joints and he slowed it down and did nice. So that's what that's what they want. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's all it was all in order for a reason. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And then you went into the Not Like Us, and that's when Samuel like threw up his arms, like, oh God, he gonna do it. Even when he was a certified lover boy, certified did you notice
Right.
that was Samuel? That was Samuel, Uncle Sam screaming
Right. Right.
to blurt out
Right.
the.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just the creativity. I mean, I even going back into the beginning of the performance when he's in the middle of the American flag with the symbolism behind that, a black man splitting the American flag. Of this dancers, they was in the formation of a flag. How they all copped out of the car. All of them came out of the car,
Sure.
even though I know they came from under the stage, but it's like they all
Right.
came from out of the symbolism of all that. The dancing with just the red person when we scream and squabble up. The symbolism of like it's time to get do what we need to do. You see what I'm saying? Why would he choose that song to come out after he did the
Right.
new track?
Right.
It's all storytelling and it's all intentional, and that's what I love about this dude. Right? Everything is intentional, and that's what he was talking about in his message about. I mean, the fake we can't they can't influence.
Right. You
So
bring up a good point that I wanted to just interject real quick about the people who were saying that it was whack. So our conversation offline more so kind of spoke to those people. Like, you must be a person that is ready to just dance or shake your butt or something like that, because if you can't get what's happening right now, you know what I mean, you must be on something different. You know what I mean? You must be on something else. You know what I mean? I don't give a lot of those people. Anybody who said it was whack, I think more so those are the exact people that I'm addressing when I say I don't think those people get it. You know what I mean? I don't think that I'm not going to give them credit of knowing what this dude is really, really all about, as if they knew him before all of this took place. And for that audience specifically, you know what I mean? For everybody else, maybe not. But, so that's more of my take. How can you fix your lips to say that that was a whack performance, especially as a black person? So go ahead.
yeah, not I've seen multiple people, not just black people, say it was white, not just white people, and not Hispanic people or whatever, and a lot of times what I'm likening it to is a lot of times most people aren't ready to hear certain messages. that are coming out. I don't necessarily always indicate that they are not intellectually ready to understand, intellectually able to understand it. I should say, like they don't get it. Like some people get it, and and again, there is a population of people who don't get it. So let's be real. Like there's a population of people who go over their head, and then again, you know,
I think that's a
unfortunately,
large
that's just
number. I think
yeah,
that's a large
right. But
number.
I think it's also a large population of people, like I said, that also do get it, but are still not ready to accept that this battle is going on, and that they won't be able to bop their heads to just nonsense like that anymore. Like where you're where we kind of talked about, like you said offline, like it's using Drake as a reference, but it's like it's kind of like a trance of just nonsense, talking about promethazine and drugs and nonsense, and let's get everybody dancing and in the club and drinking drugs and popping off and doing whatever it is. And like I said, I know I sound like I'm 75 years old, but I'm only 42, and I'm saying if that is what they push into the forefront, Drake was a lot more similar to that, especially in his latter years. Like he was thinking about a lot of love and all that stuff going on
Oh
before,
no,
but
I agree with that
yeah.
completely. Absolutely.
So I totally, you know, I mean, we getting off topic, but for the most part, it was just understanding that there are some people that are getting the message but don't want to and not ready, and a lot of those people is who we were talking to. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to those people because you know exactly what he's trying to say, and you know what time it is, and you know what time it's where we are with that cultural division, and you're not ready to make a choice to choose a side.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So again, like I said, no disagreement. Like I know there's gonna be a population of people, like I'm not calling them slow or anything like that. I'm just saying in the sense that they, you know, they're surface level people. They're not thinkers. They're not they're not individuals that you know do listen to music to find reason and understanding or a path from the artist, and
Of course,
then
yeah.
especially when that artist is trying to bring it to visual light with production and choreography and lights and storytelling and like and the preparation that it took to do that. Like they get out of here, bro. That was incredible. It was
Incredible.
like simply, and it's not even saying it because it was. If that was Bruno Mars or whoever else would have did it, I would have said the same thing. That was a piece of art for the history books, bro. I'm
Oh,
serious.
absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The
Hands
way it
down.
was put together, you can't. It's nothing you can do to deny that.
Yep.
And again, if you don't like it, you don't like that kind of music, that's fine for me because I talked about it in my piece earlier. Just like, just sometimes it's just one of those situations where the Red Hot Chili Peppers might be performing at the Super Bowl, and I move around at halftime. I might be doing something else. I'm not saying that I disliked it or I hated it or whatever, but I might be getting some refreshing some snacks. You see what I mean? I
Right.
might be doing something different. You know, so you know, but again, it's like I wouldn't necessarily talk hate on it, and that's a lot of the things that I'm talking about for people. A lot of times, people just want to be hateful about it because
Right.
you don't like the person, versus to just saying, okay, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. So be it. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, some some Super Bowls is gonna be different. Rihanna performs. Sometimes Beyonce performs. Sometimes it's gonna be Maroon Five, like so it's a
Right.
different person sometimes. Sometimes it fits your genre and it fits your era, and sometimes it don't.
Man, it was
You know
amazing
what I mean?
performance, man.
But it definitely was amazing, man.
Kendrick, keep doing your thing, bro. You know, your message is getting out there, man. You know, and you got a lot of folks behind you, man. So, man, kudos to you, bro. And uh man, just keep pushing, bro. Keep pushing.
Hey, I got nothing else to say. That's definitely how I feel. I'm always looking forward to what's going to happen 2025. I know you talked about some tickets. We trying to put together and see if we can get out there and see the boy on his stadium tour that he going on. So, we gonna try to work through that. But again, we appreciate y'all for joining us. Before we get out of here, we got to check in with our mental health for the folks. Let y'all know that we out here. We appreciate y'all. You know, if we love y'all, if you're going through something, if you need a little somebody to, to holler at, because you're feeling some kind of way, just know that, there's somebody out there that's constantly thinking about it, that supports it. Specifically, we talk about, men's mental health, but I don't discriminate. Whoever might need it and whoever might have a conversation that watches the show and helping and supporting us, we want to help and support y'all the same way. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We out. Till next time.
Take care, y'all. Take care of each other.